Today we are going to learn about the Krita Generative AI plugin. We're going to look at installing it firsthand, live, and the basic setup, and any issues we encounter will be solved. The first steps are to find the docs so that we have them. There is the Krita AI Diffusion page. There's the interstice.cloud Generative AI for Krita page with installation instructions with screenshots. What we need to do before we install the plugin within Krita is this page on the GitHub, requirements for Comfy UI. This system will let us have a workflow in Comfy that the Krita AI plugin and Krita will interact with. So you'll have a Comfy backend and Krita frontend using the plugin, which means we need these various models, even for the default styles. There are these 5 models that are used by the default styles. You also need clip, upscalers, in-painting models, clip vision. You can have control net, depending on what you want to do. You'll need different extents of all those models with certain minimum requirements of what the minimum you need to do the default styles. For instance, you need to have certain models. It uses both SD 1.5 and SDXL based models. So you can manually download this. There's over a dozen things. There's a script provided. You can install these prerequisite packages, perhaps in your environment to keep it all clean, but that might not be necessary, depending, because it's going to just use a script to download the models. It claims it will download all of the models. And it says there are a lot of additional models like ControlNet, which activate additional features in the plugin. The download models.py script will fetch all required and optional models. So I kind of want to see what this script can do and what models it downloads. And I want to do that not into my Comfy directory. You might think, I'm going to use this tool and automatically have it in my Comfy models directory, which is not what you want. What I'm going to do. You can see this says path to your Comfy UI, but you want any path. We're going to use a path into a directory that is not a Comfy directory and just have the models in it and look at what models are downloaded into it and then copy them into Comfy ourselves so that we can see the full amount of models downloaded by the script, and if there are any that we're not thinking of that aren't listed here as required, this script might download something else. We don't know. We could look at the code for the script and see as well before we download all that information, if you want. Just by opening the .py file, look at the Python code raw. So we need to install these Python prerequisites. And we need to have the script, which you can download, the download models.py script. Click download raw file. And we will want to be running this script. I'm going to go to the home directory, and I'm going to use my AI directory that we've already made within the home directory. Just for organization, it can be anywhere really. And we'll make a work folder for this aspect. Models dash Krita, just anything. Open terminal within that directory we just made. We've installed those prerequisites. So we want to run this script. I think if we don't put a path here, it will go, the path will be the directory that the file is in, I believe. So we want to have the download models file in the models Krita directory we just made, and we'll use terminal to run the file. No module named AI Diffusion. We might need to have the entire plugin get cloned. So that there's the dependency files that this is using. What we're going to do here is download the latest version of the Generative AI for Krita plugin. Install within Krita this plugin right now. So let's find the plugin installer. You'll be able to use the file we just downloaded. Import Python plugin from file in the tool scripts section. Enable the plugin, and this will give us a directory with that download script as well as what it needs to run, I believe. And we'll find the information for that on the Git page, ComfyUI setup, regarding the plugin folder called AI Diffusion, called it is the directory should be called AI Diffusion. And you can find information on the path for that right here. The link said paths, and it's explaining the Krita AI path setup, including Linux or Windows. And we still want to try the script. View show hidden files on your Dolphin file manager will help us to find the hidden files. Local share. Hopefully this will get us somewhere. Krita. This is the Krita directory. Krita AI Diffusion directory has a download models.py folder. Let's try running this. And this is a live look at what it takes to actually pull off these things. You know, it just takes a few tries, a little time, troubleshooting, and you'll hit the answer. So Python download models.py, and then we will pass it a directory path that it should download to, any path /home/ your username /AI directory / and make sure we get a directory that is existing for us to download the models into, the models-krita directory we just made. Hopefully we're getting this path correct. No models selected for download. Okay, so now it's running. We're getting the right command for that. We had progression there. We'll open the file, see if we had to like uncomment things, and look at this file. To learn how to run and use the file. It might give us the information here, running the destination and the options. So we're going to have to find, you know, ideally we would have had the options listed immediately. I don't know, maybe we can just change these variables on this function. There are commands you can see, like flags you can, or parameters or such you can pass when you run this. Let's find some documentation on how to run this before we just try running commands. Here we have found that we can run Python download models py -help. This will give us the essentially manual page, or just the basic usage to download just what you want. Let's see what options they have. We are looking at the script for Krita AI Diffusion plugin model downloading script. And we want to look at this to see exactly what they define as a full install. We can get things like control net, upscalers that are the exact version that they think is most optimized for their own application. You can prefetch models so they don't download on first use. You'll already have them. You can get just SD 1.5 requirements, just SDXL requirements, just Flux. And that is in order of your hardware's power. And if you want more of an illustration style or more photographic style, and SD 1.5 is trained on NSFW content, the others are not trained on the base model on explicit content. You can have a minimal or recommended set of models or all models. I want to do all models, let it all download, and then I can dissect what they are giving us with that method. And from there I can learn most, even though it'll take a while to download all that, the full setup and most optimized setup. And next time I can do it myself, download the optimized setup. It'll be more clean. I do this again and again because you learn each time. So let's run the command with the -a flag. Which comes before the path. So Python download models.py -a and then the path. It's working. It's downloading a clip vision model right now first. So that alone is 2.35 gigabytes. This is going to take probably over an hour. So we'll come back once we have the all version of the Krita AI plugin models downloading step. Thanks. Stay tuned for the rest of the video in a moment. We are using the download script downloadmodels.py. For reference, I'm explaining exactly what we're doing while the models are downloading. We are going to also want to install the custom nodes for Comfy. But we need to know, just one last time, we are running a script in the home hidden directory. You need to enable hidden files being shown, the .local directory, share, Krita AI Diffusion directory. This directory has the download models.py file that we run. In order to run this script and to download every model like we are doing now, it's running smooth. It's downloading Flux right now. It's 16.1 gigabytes, so that will take a moment. You will want to run a -A flag to download all models and be able to dissect the full setup provided by Krita devs for their software. To find these commands yourself, run python download models.py --help, and that is some information on what we're doing here. One last time before we go to the page for the requirements for ComfyUI setup. It gives the list of these 4 required custom nodes. The download models script will not provide these custom nodes. So we want to have Comfy running today. I do suggest using this download script. It is going to unlock a lot of features within the plugin that you won't get otherwise without a lot of work, because there are just a ton of different components here that aren't immediately obvious. It's obvious you're going to need a model, you're going to need clip files, you're going to need upscalers, but there's several other things that aren't immediately obvious that weren't listed in the prerequisites. Whereas one of the setup steps that we're getting as part of this big download. The disadvantage is you're going to have some degree of bloat, and it's going to be a little bit of a hassle copying over these models manually, because we are not doing it directly into the Comfy folder. We don't want to corrupt our Comfy install or have any issue there, overwriting things or any issue. We want to manually copy over these models after, and we are going to refer to the troubleshooting section, which describes that if there are multiple matches, any files placed inside a Krita subfolder are prioritized. The model path is allowed to be longer, so you can have Krita directory within each subfolder of the models directory for ComfyUI, and put the Krita specific models in a Krita directory for each, and that will give it those models priority while also keeping things organized, mitigating the bloat effects. You won't have a ton of models all in the main directory. You'll have a Krita specific directory containing them. We have just finished the download of all models. This models directory has them all, and they'll take a while to copy, especially these checkpoints that are the largest model type. So you want to begin copying each over each section from the directory we just made with the models newly downloaded into it. We're going to copy over each one to our ComfyUI folder. Models directory. And you'll have corresponding types of models in these directories. And we're going to open, for instance, checkpoint. Make a new folder. Call it Krita. And we want to copy over the entire contents. And do this repeatedly for ClipVision, ControlNet, embeddings, etc. It will take a few minutes to do that. So we'll see you in a moment. Thanks. We have our models copied over, but we still need to install our required Comfy custom nodes. So we'll want to have Comfy running. We'll want to have the manager already installed so that we can use it to download these few required ComfyUI nodes. And hopefully all of them will be in the repositories. So we need ControlNet preprocessors. These process data into the form needed for your specific ControlNet. Depth map or canny edges. We will also need the IP adapter node, ComfyUI IP adapter plus. You can see on your terminal command line the process as it is installing the prerequisite packages. We will need the in-paint nodes as well. Just go through these 4 minimal required custom nodes using the manager as we're doing. Make sure you get the right nodes. ComfyUI in-paint nodes. This has a link to the Git on when you hover, so you can make sure the Git pages match up. External tooling nodes. ComfyUI nodes for external tooling is the title. This should be the last one. And anytime you have custom nodes installed, you have to refresh the server. If you use the restart button, it's better and a more clean refresh. You'll be less likely to get an error binding to the IP address and having to restart the terminal window and activate your environment and all. You'll be able to just have a one button press solution. Okay, so ComfyUI has the nodes now, and it has the models generally in the proper folders according to the docs. If it's in a Krita directory, it will take precedence over other models with the same name. We are opening Krita, and when you open Krita, there are various settings and options that we could go mess with. First, we need to get this AI image generation Docker activated. This is all the advanced settings. Let's look at the instructions and follow instructions for the installation. Now that we have sort of the back-end models in place and the ComfyUI aspect in place, we can follow these instructions, which left that out. So we didn't follow this from the start. We have already imported the Python plugin file .zip downloaded from GitHub, activated it. You'll need to restart Krita, and we're going to want to create a new document and enable the Docker. So you can open Krita, file, new. And I'm not a Krita expert, so this is not my exact forte to use Krita, but we are studying the AI aspect of Krita, integrating with Comfy So this is all sort of just left at default, but the image size needs to be not huge, because we're going to be doing AI within it. If it's a huge resolution, it will take way too long, too many resources. And this is going to be explained, I believe, in the instructions here. We're still trying to get it all running. The first step is making the new document, and the resolution they give as a suggestion when recommending a low resolution here is 640 by 512. So why not use their resolution? And I don't think the resolution here works the same as an empty latent resolution. I think you could choose more of a general, just any resolution here, and it fills in using a different mechanism than we're used to, in a way. Using Comfy as the back end to do that, but it's not exactly the same. Okay, let's hope those settings are all good. Settings, Dockers, and select AI image generation. So we have this running. AI image generation is here. You can arrange the window how you like. And this will take a lot of experimenting for you to learn. Just click around. You can select built-in styles here, but what we want to do is make sure we're connected to our ComfyUI instance. I believe it's already connected because I had ComfyUI running and it has detected the connection. You can let Krita have a Comfy server it creates for you. You can use a GPU cloud service. We want to have a interesting style preset. We're going to use Cinematic Photo XL preset and just see what we can fill in and optimize on the options for this. The checkpoint used by this style is not installed. Is that true? It's saying that for all of these. Maybe that's because it's in the Krita folder. We can select the model checkpoint manually. You can see my SDXL directory with Albedo base XL is also being detected. So I wanted to use an XL model and see what we can get. It's downloaded RealVisXL. Let's try that. And to get the pre-installed styles to work, we could see if having these files directly in the models folder in the corresponding type of model folder directly without a Krita folder would help. Okay, you can add low range adaptation models where it has a hyper SDXL 8 steps. Let's try this low range adaptation maybe. It is not required to add this manually, it says. So you can click trash, delete that. Style prompt. This will let you wrap a prompt and have a default string in your prompt at the beginning, and then use this placeholder to have the prompt you give it on the other area of the interface in a moment. So you'll have cinematic film still, and then the prompt that you give it. So each time it will have this style prompt. Quality, preset. You can have the type of sampling selected. For instance, default is DPM++2M, alternate is Euler Ancestral. I work with Euler Ancestral, but we'll leave it at the default for now. It should be optimized for their setup. Performance mode, preset is dependent on your hardware and the speed you want to work at. Real-time hyper should be quick. Performance presets, or the performance settings, are going to want to be set to taste. For your hardware, performance preset here, I can select GPU high because I have a 24 gigabyte VRAM GPU. We'll set this to GPU high in the performance settings. You have an NSFW filter if you have kids or something and you want to filter explicit content, you can do that. And let's see where we can go from here. The only issue I've had so far was that it is not picking up the specific model checkpoint for the default style without me manually selecting one. Here are some additional, more advanced checkpoint configurations we'll just leave. And we should be ready to attempt going further in doing some actual work with this plugin. This is the strength. This is where you'll put the prompt in this box. A magical seahorse swims through a starry Milky Way galaxy sky. And we'll use natural language first. The image displays a magical seahorse swimming through the sky, swimming through a starry Milky Way galaxy sky. Purple hues dominate the image, which includes vivid colorized lighting technique. Okay, let's just go ahead and press generate. We might get an error or something, but this is supposed to be user friendly. It's generating an image, I think. And if you want a quicker experience, you want to run SD 1.5 for more photorealism and having more parameters in the model to have a more complex prompt adhered to. You'll want to use SDXL. And this is taking a moment. Once the models are loaded in, the next time you run the generation, it will be quicker. And you can see here, checking the console if desired to see what is going on. If it's taking a minute and you want to check for errors, you can check the console. But we can see here we have our generated image. The resolution isn't great because we gave it the image size that was more efficient rather than most large and beautiful. But this is a good start for today. And there's a lot more we can do with this. This is only the first step. What you're going to be able to do is if you wanted to make a selection of just the seahorse, you can invert the selection that you make to select the area around it, or select the area and use the Krita AI plugin features to generate, using AI, only the selected area using the prompt that you give it. So we can change the contents of this with generative AI using our Comfy backend we love so much. And this only gets more advanced from here. This is just the most basic example. You click apply. And from here, there's add region button, which defines a region where you can give that region a different text prompt. Containing orange bursting light, vividly flowing from the source. So I'm making that orange bursting light vividly so that it will have contrast to this, and we can see what is being generated most easily, just as a test. To make a selection and generate using the Krita AI plugin, I like to use this freehand selection tool. To make a freehand selection, you can use the rectangular, elliptical, or others as desired. But before we press the Add Region button in the dock for the plugin, you'll want to have already made the selection so it knows where the region is. So just real quick, I'm selecting the seahorse just roughly. So we're not here all day doing it. And click, then once you have your selection, we can click Add Region. And this is giving us a region of the seahorse selection where we can give it a new prompt and generate only this region. So I'm going to use this same prompt of the content, basically giving it orange lighting, and we'll see if we can get a generation in this region corresponding to that prompt right now. It might just change slightly. And you see here, you click this. This is listing all of our generations. And you click this, and you can see it's kept the seahorse and turned it orange. What if we want green? Can we just change the prompt on that region and click Generate Region again? Will it make it green? Yes. See? That's the power of AI. This is just a quick example to show what you can do if you want to sit down and get creative and do this all in detail. You can have a much better result. This is just a quick result for our quick example, of course. And when you have one you like, you can, on this sort of gallery of our generations for the regions and the prompts, you'll select it and then click the check mark, and you'll see this star, and that is basically saving that as something you want to use. And you can click between them and see each generation, the different variations. Well, that's a quick look at Krita installation and basic use. I hope it was of some use to you today. Thanks a lot for watching. It's been Alien Machine AI.